Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and this is your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. I am your host of Viking Donkey. We will be talking to you about Week 15 in the NFL. This is a sports talk Week 15. I am joined once again by the one and only Mutant Gingy.
Genji in the house. Here we go.
And special guest Laskers is back for a double dip 2 weeks in a row. Aren't we just the luckiest?
Of course you're lucky that I'm here.
Yeah, I know. We get the Lasker's insight, which, oh man, oh man, oh man, what is going on here? We can get into that in a minute.
We'll get
First,
there.
let's talk other things we saw in the NFL. Like, how about earlier today, TB12 going old school and putting, what was it, 40? Was it 47 he put on Detroit? Like, he benched himself in the third quarter because he was so damn good? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he put up 28.
Now, oh my god, that was a. How about New Orleans fans getting an Alvin Kamara 6 TD Christmas treat? Woo, baby!
Yeah.
Like,
Monster on the ground.
that was something to see. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Also, going back to last week, we now have a guaranteed division that will not have a winning football team. Thank you, NFC Least. Sorry that you came up a little short, Dwayne Haskins in Washington, but hey, you still control your destiny, and yeah, that's a thing.
Can't believe it.
Also, biggest of shout-outs to the New York Jets.
Yeah, there's a lot
Way to
of
get off the snide.
a lot of back and forth about that, whether or not they lose the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes now to Jacksonville because of that. But you got to be happy for the players not to be a part of history in the wrong type of way there.
Yeah, you don't ever want to see a team not win a game. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I don't know. For me last week, watched a fairly entertaining game between the Chiefs and the New Orleans Saints. Back and forth. I know the Saints already played again this week on Christmas, but looking back last week at week 15, pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
How do you stop that Chiefs offense? I watched that game too, and New Orleans did exactly what you should do. 2 high safeties the whole time saying, you're going to have to run the ball. And the Chiefs still just threw the ball. Like, that shouldn't be fair. You should not be allowed to do that. Like, what is Patrick Mahomes doing? You can't be that good. That's not, no. No. Just no.
They do pretty much whatever they want on offense. It's crazy. Other things that I saw in the last week, looking at a good game between the Colts and the Texans. The Texans just had a tough season so far. They're a fairly good football team, but the Colts pull one out at the end with a heck of a defensive play from Darius Leonard.
The Texans, those last 2 weeks, or 2 of the last 3 weeks, fumbles when you have a chance to go win the football game.
Yep.
I mean, oh, that's so harsh. And they played so many good teams this year. It's not like they were a bad team. It's like, luck did not want them to win football games. Just ill-timed turnovers, 2 yards too short, fumbles at the goal line. Man, that's hard. That was hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know what to say there. I mean,
I mean,
Hey, how about-
Donkey, we're kind of at a loss for words. There's an overpowering topic from last week that I'm just itching to get to. There's all kinds of other football going on, yes, but right now there's crisis on the home front. All right, can we talk about that a little bit?
yeah, let's go ahead. Why don't you start? Because I have a feeling I could go on a 30-minute rant, so I don't want to take the stage at the beginning.
Crisis on the home front. Donkey, that first half of football. I mean, you're first of all, let's set the stage here. You're going into Monday night primetime. Steelers. They beat up on Ohio. They beat up on everybody. Fairly good primetime record overall. I know you can pick out some here and there, but overall, looking for a confidence booster on a 2-game skid going into that versus the lowly Cincinnati Bengals and their third string quarterback. And in that first half, you look at 7 of the first 8 drives being 3 and out. The Steelers had absolutely nothing on offense. They had worse than nothing. Their presence on the field benefited the Cincinnati Bengals, and by the way, 17 points. And that is one of the most disappointing halves of football I've seen in a long time.
Were they on the field?
Yeah, they were giving away field position.
Only by physical presence.
Oh my, they were on the field all right. They were stinking it up.
Ooh, a Vertibot.
Continue. I'm enjoying this.
I am so disappointed. Last week I talked about Ben this and Ben that, and he's got to come back and he's got to show it. And there was nothing to be shown there. It's more of the same. And I'm not one to call for his head in the middle of the season or anything like that. But I am looking at the fact moving forward that I'm not sure if he's going to be the guy to be able to get it done. There's going to have to be a serious change, and I didn't see it in his attitude or demeanor based on how he presented himself on the field. We'll start there.
Or we could even go after the game. If you watch that press conference, Ben looked like a dude who just didn't care. He's like, stop talking to me. I know what the problems are. I'm the problem, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. It was that, and we've seen it before out of Ben. I mean, it's not the first time Ben Roethlisberger's ever given that demeanor in a post-game press conference. The bigger problem is normally he had really good games during those years that you could say, but he still has it. You've seen it. The bigger problem I see here is he hasn't had a game where you can be like, wow, he was great. I mean, there are some numbers that are good, but there never was a game where the passing was crisp, where it felt like he was a starting NFL quarterback, a top 10 NFL quarterback. Like, I feel like he's a punch-drunk backup right now, to be honest with you. I feel like he's 2016 Peyton Manning in Denver, where this defense made him look so good, and he's just not the quarterback that can get it done anymore. But, you know, one last hurrah. My bigger fear is, what if it isn't just one last hurrah? What if this Ben, who's no better than Devlin Hodges, keeps showing up? Because let's be honest, Ben is, out of qualified quarterbacks, he is the second least accurate throwing the football more than 20 yards down the field. And if anyone here, and we all do, know what Ben Roethlisberger made him great, was his ability to push the ball down the field. If he can't push the ball down the field, what are we getting out of Ben?
Yeah, you can really tell the defenses are starting to adjust pretty significantly to the skill set that's being put on the field by the Steelers offense. The play calling, you feel, is really limited, somewhat predictable. There was a spark of life when you saw, what was it, basically a 3-play drive right at the beginning of the second half, Donkey, where we were looking at couple sustained runs from Benny Snell, and then a wide receiver screen to the outside to Claypool, and then that which led to the touchdown to Deontay. You felt it for a second, and it was just too little too late in a game like that. The inconsistency overwhelmed them.
Okay, so you're setting up exactly what I saw. Drive of the game, we get it 17-10. Our defense forces, I believe it's a 3 and out. Either way, defense forced the ball back. I turn to my wife and I say, oh my God, we score here, we win the game. We score here, we win the game. And Ben just throws the 3 ugliest passes you've ever seen, I believe is what happened.
Yup.
It might have been a bad run involved in there. But I was just like, I go to my wife, I'm like, this is the drive. We can win the game right now. I'm like, we score, we win the game. And he just can't get it done. The clutch situations, I'd rather have the defense on the field. And that's saying something, because this defense went from Super Bowl level to Devin Bush got hurt. Okay, now we're elite level. Oh my gosh, Bud Dupree gets hurt. Now we're good level. Which, by the way, good level still might be the best defense in the NFL, because there's no other great defenses in the NFL. There's a few other good ones, but we still might be the best one at a good level. But at a good level, you need support from your offense. And I don't know if Ben Roethlisberger can deliver it, throwing the ball as much as he does. Which is why I go into this 3-tier approach to why the Steelers need to do something. One, I just explained to you how the defense is no longer elite. It's good. You need to make a change. You need to do something that gets that offense to at least adequate. Because can we all agree the defense or the offense is inadequate? Did anyone here see an adequate offense?
No.
No.
Okay. So, step 2 is you need to make a play calling design that benefits a good defense, which means controlling the ball, running the ball. Either Randy Fichtner is the dumbest mother lover in the world and can't see that his quarterback's struggling and still believes, well, I have vintage Super Bowl Tom Brady at 40 years old. I hate to break it to you, most quarterbacks at 40 fucking suck. I'm sorry that Tom Brady is the exception and everyone now thinks everyone should be as good as Tom Brady late into their career. Not going to happen. TB12 is a GOAT. Ben Roethlisberger's not TB12. So let's get that out of our heads first. So either Fleischer's an idiot and thinks he has Tom Brady, or Randy Fleischer doesn't know how to call plays, which I firmly believe. Or maybe it's Ben Roethlisberger making this whole offense about Ben Roethlisberger and only Ben Roethlisberger because he wants to be the hero, the gunslinger, the movie star. But either way, something needs to change there. And personally, the first move I would make is a move to Mason Rudolph. Because step 2 is I don't think we're going to change the play calling because of Fichtner. Step 3 is then you need to change the personnel to make the play calling have to change. And I believe Mason Rudolph has a better chance of hitting a receiver 20 yards down the field right now than Ben Roethlisberger. I believe if we put in Mason Rudolph, this team will become a running team. And I believe if this team becomes a running team, they have a chance to assist that defense to maybe where we make a run in the playoffs. And hear me out on this. Sure, a lot of Steelers fans don't believe, like I do, that Mason Rudolph is the future. I think Mason Rudolph's a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be a great one, but I think he's one you could win with the defense we have. And that is important. And here's the thing. If we go to Mason Rudolph in either of the 2 games, it doesn't mean you can't go back to Ben if he sucks. I know a lot of Steelers Nation think, he'll just come in and look worse than Ben. Well, if he does, then you go back to Ben in the playoffs. And if y'all are trying to make me believe that, well, Ben's hurt, that's why he can't throw the ball, then what does giving him 2 weeks off do other than let him heal and maybe come back stronger, more able to throw the football? So even if you're going to come at me with these arguments, the thing is, it actually benefits my argument what you're saying, because we should give Mason Rudolph the chance. Because what happens if he does come out and show he can make these 20-yard throws that Ben couldn't? All of a sudden, our offense is a little better. What happens if he sucks? Well, then Ben's a little more rested and we get into the playoffs. Because either way, there's no fans, so that's not going to affect the game. But hear me on this. Before he got hurt last year and lost his confidence in a couple bad games, and I'm not saying he didn't have bad games because he had a bunch, Mason Rudolph made the throws you need to make. Ben Roethlisberger hasn't made the throws you need to make all year. He's always been short, always behind the receiver. I mean, we had a touchdown to James Washington on the first play. What happened?
Missed him.
It was almost intercepted. It was so poorly underthrown. We have a touchdown to Deontay Johnson on the third play. What happened?
More of the same.
We have Chase Claypool as the number 1 receiver on the play, running wide open to the end zone. What happened?
Threw it in triple coverage.
To a triple covered Ebron because Ebron was only 10 yards down the field and Ben knows he can throw the ball 10 yards, whereas heaven forbid he tries to throw the ball 30 yards, he's going to miss by a mile and a half. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but how'd you say goodbye to a legend? What's the proper way to say goodbye to a legend?
There
Cool.
you go.
What if your legend can't be the one to lead you to that championship?
I still think you go for it, though. But not with him.
Okay.
I think
Not with him.
at the end of
So
the
does
day,
that mean you change him?
Yeah,
I
it does.
believe that they have a better chance to win with Ben Roethlisberger than they do Mason Rudolph. I said it. I might be wrong. That's what I feel.
I hear you, and maybe they do. But this still brings up my question for you then. What does it hurt to see what Mason Rudolph can do? Even if you think Ben is the answer, what does it hurt to see what Mason Rudolph can do?
I've seen what Mason Rudolph can do. You are far more convinced in his body of work than I am.
If you're just going to go off pure statistics and the bad half of last year and not look to the first few good games, the time he stepped in and looked good, and his college tape, yes, you're going to think he's bad. But I mean, he does have a winning record as a Steelers quarterback. Let's not act like he's a loser who's only ever lost in a Steelers uniform. I believe he's 5-3 record as a starting quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Not certain on that. What his record is.
I know it's winning. It's either 5-3 or 5-4, and I'm pretty sure it's 5-3. So he's a guy who's proven he can win. We're on a team that. Do you really think we can go into the playoffs doing the same damn thing we're doing?
They definitely cannot do that.
Do you think this Ben Roethlisberger can win a playoff game? Be honest with me. This Ben Roethlisberger can win a playoff game. And
No.
I'm not saying, well, if the defense shows up. I'm saying, can Ben Roethlisberger, even field against anyone else here, win a playoff game?
Not the one that you've seen since the second week in November.
And not the one since the Browns game, essentially, right?
Jaguars game.
Okay.
Week
Fair
after that, I believe. That was the last time they scored.
Do you make a
27
change to
points,
try
I
to
believe.
fire a team up?
You might. I'm not in that locker room. I don't know what that's like right now. I don't know if this is a team that's ready to rally behind a leader, or whether this is a team that already sees what you do and is like giving up on this leader. I'm not sure, but hopefully Mike Tomlin is able to read the room on that and make a sound decision. Because what you say is not out of the question. I personally wouldn't make that move, but I'm not the head coach of the Steelers.
Do you sustain mediocrity for fear of failure when the backup has the potential to be better than the starter? Do you keep Alex Smith when you have Patrick Mahomes on the bench? I'm not claiming, and don't think I'm claiming Mason Rudolph's that good. What I'm claiming is Ben looks a lot worse than Alex Smith ever did. So Mason Rudolph looking a lot worse than Patrick Mahomes ever did still could be a better version. So the question is, do you go with the younger guy who has the upside, or do you stay with the veteran who you know will bring you mediocrity?
No, I don't. That whole Patrick Mahomes thing is a little out of line, donkey. Just saying.
It's just this statement. Do you stick with a veteran who's known to be mediocre, or do you go with the young guy who maybe has the potential to bring you up? Because no one knows. A lot of people said Patrick, by the way, if you listen to a lot of the scouts and things when Patrick Mahomes was coming out, was he can't make it, that throwing motion won't work, this isn't going to work. And then all of a sudden, wow, he's literally the greatest thing we've ever seen. I'm not saying, and I am not comparing Mason Rudolph to that. What I'm saying is, do you live in fear of failure to the point where you fear success?
I don't know about all that. I'm not putting Mason in there. Not versus. I can't do it, donkey. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Can you tell me what it would hurt, though, if Mason played? Possibly. At all. What could possibly be hurt?
Just the inconsistency. I think you really scream emergency if you do that. Tomlin is trying to right the ship with the pieces that he has. I don't know if those are going to be the right pieces, but it looks like that's the move that he's going to make.
Because he's a coach that has shown before he's afraid to take the big play. And I love Tomlin, don't get me wrong, but that's one thing I've always hated was his inability to go for it in situations that would change a game. And it seems like if this was any other position, would we even be having this conversation?
Not if it wasn't Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. That's the end of an era coming.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, we can do this the right way, or we can keep not trying to replace a franchise legend because we're afraid of what the fan base will do if it doesn't work out.
I think that's a reasonable thing that's going through people's minds, donkey.
Because anyone who tries to say, well, that wouldn't happen, that's not how fan bases act. Really? That's how the Giants fan base and the media acted about Eli Manning getting benched on was it a 2-win football team? Like a 2-8 football team? Eli got benched when he hadn't been good for 3 years, and people were like, how can you do that to Eli? Like, you can't be afraid to bench a legend. Just because the dude has done great things for your franchise doesn't mean he's the greatest move for your franchise. Like, We benched other players this year for playing inconsistent. We literally have a football player who is single-handedly responsible for the last 2 losses and arguably maybe every loss on this season. And we don't even talk about potentially putting in someone else just to see. Like, why not?
We'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the turnovers last week, the Steelers lost the turnover battle, and that's, if they're going to win any more football games at all, something that cannot happen. I'm looking moving forward, Donkey, about how they win football games. If you put Mason Rudolph in, are all the problems solved?
No, but I think we'll
maybe.
stick to a run game that's successful. Like, say what you want, our run game was successful last week.
Yeah, I found
We didn't stick with it because Ben has to be Ben, and Ben has to throw the ball 60% of the time because Ben has to be the reason we win football games.
I hope that.
I don't think that happens with Mason
on.
Rudolph. I think we run Benny Snell football down the Bengals' throat and win.
There was 17 rushes for 84 yards. I think that's 4.7 per carry. That's good enough. It's adequate. It's better than we've seen a couple weeks before that.
There was 2 turnovers, purely the responsibility of Ben on a bad interception, not to mention 2 different dropped interceptions in that game. And his throw to Juju kind of led to that thing, because how does a quarterback not read that the safety's sitting down in coverage? You know why the safety's sitting down in coverage? Because your ass can't throw it over the top. So then the safety sitting down in coverage comes up and just lights up egotistic Juju Smith-Schuster, who's trying to pull an Antonio Brown, not in the I'm a terrible person way, because Juju's a great person, in the me on social media is more important than the football team way.
When you start getting into that social media business, I would have hoped that he would have learned from what he had seen from Big Bro Antonio. And while he might be catching bombs now from Tom Brady, that was the beginning of the end when you start seeing Facebook in the locker room, and now we see dancing on the other team's logo before the game, and it seemed to matter. I think that hit had that little bit extra on it.
Von Bell even said that. He said, I know what he's been doing. I've been watching him. I was going to make him shut up. Not exact words, but essentially is what Von Bell said. And Von Bell, he came up and played, and Juju's over here playing like a number 4 receiver, acting like a prima donna DeAndre Hopkins level skill set, though.
Not with 3 for 15.
I don't know what to say, man. This whole team went from a team that went 11-0 and was like, yeah, we're on top of the world, everyone's doubting us, but we don't care, to the, holy shit, the doubters were right. And they're playing with that attitude, like they just don't care. Like, Laskers, do you see something on this football team I'm missing?
No, I really don't. I agree, and I did see that Juju is also saying that he's not going to dance on any more logos.
Probably smart.
I'm glad about that, but it's a little too late, dude. You already proved who you are, what you're about. What you're about is the Juju Smith-Schuster brand. You're about being that TikTok star. And I'm sorry, when you have that level of distraction associated with you, when you're that person putting up bulletin board material, you damn well better be Antonio Brown good. Because let's be honest, Antonio Brown got away with it because we knew at the end of the day he was going to show up, put up $120 and 2 touchdowns, and run over 2 Baltimore Ravens on his way to the end zone. We knew that was going to happen. You know what we know is going to happen with Juju in a big game at a big time? He's going to forget the football. He's going to forget the football.
No,
it's been proven, and it sucks. It is what it is, though.
That Christmas was a lot merrier one than this one.
Dude, that still might be my favorite Steelers play I was alive for. Like, outside of the Super Bowl plays, like regular season Steelers play, that play right there. Antonio Brown just willing his way through the Ravens. And my favorite part was it was through Eric Weddle, who didn't come to Pittsburgh because he wanted to play for a winner. Yeah, that was so great to win the division running through him. Like, all right, dude, suck it. Not that we did very much after that, but, it was fun.
I don't know. My favorite play still is the bus trucking Urlacher in the snow.
That's a good one.
That's a great
Oh,
one.
throwback. Those are two throwback players there. Oh my God. Old school big running backs. Those don't really exist unless your name's Derrick Henry. And slow tackling middle linebackers, like they only exist still in Pittsburgh and Baltimore. No, they don't even exist in Baltimore. Only in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I gotta give some credit to the Cincinnati Bengals on this. I think they came out with a scheme that you could tell their play calling really worked. You know, they were getting shut down on the run, and then they started running that run option with Finley, and it left a couple guys in their shoes a couple times. One for a big old touchdown.
TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith were not ready for that. They just kept running back like the quarterback wouldn't do anything. Next thing you know, the quarterback's 20 yards downfield. Can't happen. Can't happen. The defense... To be fair, the defense played so much that game because the offense did literally nothing.
And they stood strong in the first half, I felt. Really only giving up 0 points, really. Just all the points given up off turnovers.
Yeah, every point was off turnovers.
They did, and then when the big drive came in the second half, they just folded because they were too tired, and you could see it. You could see the guys just weren't striking as much. I mean, to be fair, we were down to like our 8th middle linebacker or some shit. I mean, I'm not sure how many more can get hurt.
Yeah.
But that wasn't pretty at all. And there's enough said about that game. I mean, we disagree on how things should be fixed. The point is things have to be fixed going forward, or there's nothing to really be hopeful for. Because if this is the way we show up in the playoffs, don't even go. Like, don't even put our fan base through that.
I can agree to that. There's going to be a big one coming up this week versus the Colts. It's a good measuring stick heading into late December.
Very, very possible our first playoff opponent.
Quite possible. I don't know how the AFC South works out. Again, they had a Colts are playing good at the right time. You know, winning some close games like they did last week and the week before that one, I believe, actually. Really gonna it's gonna be hard to establish a run game with Leonard over there, but we're gonna have to see if Ben can pick it up this week. Yeah, you have to. This is your. Yeah, I think Ben said it a couple weeks ago. Pre-playoff football. Well, you know, if last week was based on that, you're 1 and done and you're out versus a 2-10-1 football team, and you have to do better. And if you don't, it's gonna be a real quick end of the season.
Yeah, it's going to not be nice. It's going to be literally the Steelers fans riding a high we've never gotten at 11-0, and then riding a low of, oh my God, this is exactly what we've been for the past decade and a half. Like, when was the last time we were good? Like, in the playoffs. Not good as a football team, because we've been a good football team for a long time, but when was the last time we were a playoff caliber winning team?
Well, you know, we can get in when we are the 6th seed, but usually...
Yes, Laskers, I agree.
We can do well when we are the 6th seed. However, that's usually with us coming on in December, not heading down.
True, this is normally... It used to be a team that finished well. Now it seems to be like a team that's more often than not limping in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing it again, and we're afraid to make changes at the parts that are hurting us. And now we're going against a Colts team who's a terrible matchup for us. Because the best way to delay pass rushers is a good running game. And say what you want, Indy sticks to the run game because they protect their old quarterback who no longer has the skill set he used to. They protect him by running the ball, using these play actions, and then doing something that always kills Pittsburgh. If you have time and you overload a side, which means, like, you know, running a shallow cross, a mid cross, and a deep cross, with the shallow crosser being the last one to move, you tend to kill the Steelers. That's how Indy runs their offense. Like, I've watched their last 4 games, and Pittman Jr. so often just comes late in a play. They do play action. They overload the right side of a defense, and he just catches a little 3-yard dump screen and goes 40 yards. The way they run their offense is like they're designed to beat the Steelers.
Call up Butler. Tell him you got it on tape.
What's he going to do? The schemes are going to still be the same. And if we've witnessed one thing about the Steelers is we don't change even if the other team's going to beat us one certain way. We're going to keep doing it. You don't believe that? I'm still watching Vince Williams get torched by running backs every other week, and I'm just like, how is this possible? And it's in situations where we literally have in the dime package, but we're still making Vince Williams cover people. I know we're trying to be disguise what we're doing. We need him to cover sometimes. No, you fucking don't. He's not good at it. You don't need to disguise it. Like, our most effective plays are where Mike Hilton shows he's going to blitz and then blitzes. Disguise does not need to be a part of the defense when you're just better physically. But it's still what we do. We still make stupid decisions. Coordinating's still a problem, although Keith Butler I'll say this. The first couple years of Butler, I'm like, he needs to go. He can't learn. He can't do anything. The defense has changed. It's evolved. And with this talent level, Keith Butler can get it done. And he can get it done effectively. But then we flip to the other side of the ball, and we have Randy Fichtner not being able to get it done. Like, have you guys felt, since he's been hired, there has been a well-called offensive football game?
They look predictable.
They do. And you guys know me. Was I ever calling for Todd Haley's head because I could sit on my couch and call the plays?
I've heard it.
Well, now I can sit on my couch and call the plays while looking away from the TV by just hearing the personnel that are in. Like, it's gotten worse. How'd you go from a dude who you changed because you didn't like the way he was handling things to someone who's, I don't know if he's calling the plays or Ben's calling the plays. I don't care. Both of them should be replaced. Personal opinion. I have felt that for a while. I told you before, in 2018, the year before Ben's arm injury, that he looked like he was losing it. And now we're here where it's gone, and we don't know what to do because, well, he's a legend, and you can't replace a legend. That's just the way it has been for a long time.
We're not fooling anybody.
It's hard to say goodbye. Why am I getting out of my power armor? Oh, I'm gonna die. That's not good. But I'd love to say I feel something positive here, but the fact of the matter is, the defense got hurt, and now they're not as good as they were. The offense needed to step up, and when the pressure got put on the offense, they just folded. They folded easier than the cheap fold-up chairs from Walmart. They broke easier than those chairs when your 200-pound ass plops in it. I mean, what? Tell me something
I'm not gonna
that
say
makes
it's
me
over
believe.
till it's over. I'm not saying
But tell me
it's over till it's
something
over.
that makes me believe, without a change, this team can win.
Nothing without a change. That's exactly what we're talking about here.
Tell me what we've changed in the past 5 weeks when we have shown that it isn't working.
There's not much.
No, and are these offensive linemen going to all of a sudden grow a pair going into week 16? Is Matt Filer finally going to be able to push someone? Oh, no, wait, he's hurt. Who's up next? J.C. Hassenhauer? Oh, my God. I don't know who you are, but I would rather have Mike Munchak come out of retirement at 60 and go play. I mean, let's look at this offensive line and tell me which one of these players is starter capable right now. I will give you that David DeCastro's like a mid-tier offensive guard right now. Maybe the 15th best right guard in football right now. Outside of him, do we have a starter that should be starting on this offensive line?
Really banged up on both sides of the ball.
Even if we were healthy, would we have a starter that's capable on this offensive line?
Well, you never know. When we lost Zach Banner on the right side in week 1, it really all went downhill from there.
True. I mean, he was playing better than these guys are playing. That's for damn sure. I mean,
there's your push.
I feel like we played well in week 2, and I'm not even sure. Did we even get pushed in week 1? Dude, you got to tell me this beforehand so I can go and remember to look at the tapes.
It was the Giants game, so you can't really tell versus their defense.
Fair. Laskers, you have to have something that gives me hope, right? Something.
I don't know.
All right.
We need a lot of help.
True.
He always gets some help from the other teams, though.
True. Maybe we get on a turnover streak again. Maybe that defense just goes nuts, huh?
That'll do it.
Hopeful.
Like I said, you really emphasized what the team, how you beat the Steelers, and that's you have to win on the turnover margin. And Cincinnati did that super effectively. If you don't win on that turnover margin every time, you're going to be playing a tight game with the Steelers, with that Steelers D. Like I said, I'm definitely going to say that if this season ends early, it will be to be blamed on the offensive side of the ball. There's no question about that. But it's not over till the fat lady sings, and there are some definite playmakers on that defense that can change football games.
Yeah, there are. I mean, that defense has showed up. That defense still showing it's a good unit and still showing it's a top 5 defense in the NFL. Like I said, though, that defense isn't a Super Bowl unit anymore, which is really unfortunate because that's what we need them to be, apparently.
Yeah.
Ever since that first loss to Devin Bush, every game was super, super close. And we were still elite then. After the loss of Bud Dupree, I mean, oof. I like Alex Highsmith, by the way. He's got a good burst off the ball. He has the ability to be a good outside rusher, whatever you want to call him, edge player. That's what they're called now. And it's just he makes young mistakes. You saw it this week when he over-pursued things, when he got caught out of position. That's a young guy thing. He's going to learn. Hopefully his moves get a little better, which will help him get to the quarterback more. So I guess the bright side is maybe Highsmith really steps up these last 2 weeks, and then we have a just gruesome front seven going into the playoffs, and you have to throw quick against a secondary that has a bunch of playmakers, including the man, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who, thank God he tackled with his whole body this week, man. The best thing I saw was Minkah Fitzpatrick wrapping people up.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, that stopped him shorter every time. And I mean, say what you want, that defense looked better this week. But it was the Bengals. It was a third-string quarterback. I'm not going to look too much into it. But they played the type of football that gives us a chance to win.
They need a win, donkey.
How am I supposed to care when it's clear the offense doesn't care? How am I supposed to care when the face of the franchise doesn't look like he cares? And the play I'm going to call out on is the fumble. Sure, the fumble happened. Sure, DeCastro hit it. Ben saw where it went, and he didn't even move. He just turned around and shrugged. Like, fuck it, it's football. Like, it's like he doesn't care. And tell me how a guy leads a team when he doesn't look like he cares. Tell me how other players view him. And then I have a bigger question for you, and I blame the coaching staff for this. First, I got a question. Laskers, maybe you don't follow this, but can you tell me, does Tom Brady take days off during the week?
I'm pretty sure he does not.
Does Drew Brees take days off during the week?
Only when he's hurt.
Can you name me one starting quarterback who, when healthy, guaranteed to take a day off every week?
Russell Wilson would be the only person I could think that might.
Ben Roethlisberger's the answer, by the way. Every week,
I knew him.
He doesn't have to practice. Every week, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't show up to work. I mean, yeah, he shows up there, but he doesn't do anything. And every week, we start the fucking game with a 3-and-out because we look unprepared. Are you telling me a quarterback should be given benefits when he shows up every week unprepared?
Don't think so.
Why the hell does it happen? Why the hell is this coaching staff letting the most unprepared person on the team, the most important person to have prepared on the team, show up unprepared every frickin' Sunday?
They gotta get it done, donkey.
Why not make him practice then? Why not hold him accountable? The other people who used to get days off aren't getting them off anymore because they're not getting the job done. Why the hell is he being treated differently?
Because he's
all fair
old.
questions.
Because you can't say goodbye to a legend?
Because your alternatives are not good.
Well, right now, our alternatives can't be much worse because I watched Duck fucking Hodges play better football than Ben Roethlisberger is right now.
We shall see.
And I know it's well, yeah, but Duck proved he tanked the season away. What's Ben doing right now? I mean, I know y'all don't want to admit it because he's won 2 Super Bowls, but let's be honest. When was the last time Ben Roethlisberger won us a big football game?
I've seen it in a 3-game stretch, Donkey. Like I said, I am not one of these Monday morning quarterbacks who has knee-jerk reactions to bad stretches of time. At the end of the season, I will reassess Ben Roethlisberger's ability to play football. Right now, they need to focus on the week ahead.
Gingy, I'm not a Monday morning quarterback. I'm not knee-jerk reacting. I've been saying this shit since week fucking 2. But I said I will give you to week 5 to see if he gets better. Since week 5, I have been calling his ass out every week because the fact of the matter is he has not looked good since 2017.
Not as good. No, definitely not, Donkey. And it might lead them to their end.
Like when he's all right, let's do a little fun trivia or fun game. Let's rank the AFC North quarterbacks. Who you got at number 1? Laskers, we'll let you go first. Who you got at number 1?
Gonna have to be Lamar.
Gingy?
Yeah, probably Lamar.
I agree, Lamar, because he's the one you have to game plan around. Like, that dude is, not because he's the best thrower, but that dude can run. All right, who you got at number 2? And by the way, we're going to count Joe Burrow in this as the Bengals quarterback, not fucking Ryan Finley. Who you got at number 2?
I might have to go Joe Burrow. Just because I don't trust the Browns quarterback at all.
You don't like Baker? That's fair. That's fair.
I'll
All right,
say,
Gingy,
I'll
what
say
you got at
Baker
2?
Mayfield, number 2, probably.
I'd take Baker too. I love what Baker's potential was. I wanted us to draft him at the end of the first round that year he came out, and somehow he became the number 1 overall draft pick, and I was like, well, that's a bit high. I still think it was. But Baker got the job done, and say what you want. As the years gone on, Baker's been better, which was why that Browns team looks better. So fun thing. Number 3, where are we going with number 3?
Still blows it bad from time to time.
Well, he's still
He
around.
does not win
I mean,
them the
there's
football.
enough
He does
set
not
there.
win the football games there. That running game does. Number 3 going Ben Roethlisberger.
Laskers.
Man, it's close. I'm gonna have to go Roethlisberger too.
All right, so we have Roethlisberger over Burrow and Roethlisberger over
Baker.
Baker. Got it. And then for me, you got Burrow over Roethlisberger because I think he's the 4th best. But either way you look at that, you're talking he's at best, and these are Steelers fans calling him at best the 3rd best quarterback in our division.
Over the last stretch of the last 4 weeks, yes. Which is what matters.
We can include last year, his whole 1 game where he was garbage.
Sure. Include that too.
I mean, I don't know how far back you want to go. Do you want to talk careers? Because, well, that's just a little rude. Those other guys have literally been in the league 5 years combined.
Yeah, we'll see which
There's
one
6,
of them.
maybe 6.
And like I said, it's on record, and we'll see which one of those guys end up with 60,000 passing yards.
Oh, I don't think they're gonna. First off, I don't think any of them have a better career than Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
You
so.
don't win. You don't win football games living in the past. If
No,
that's the case,
you're right.
we should just run Terry fucking Bradshaw out there every week, right?
Exactly. You're right. You're right on that. I just don't want you to. We're painting a picture here, Donkey,
Of this season.
of this season. That's what we want to keep in mind right now.
Yes, that's why I was emphasized this season. Who's the best quarterbacks in this division?
That yes, I will say those things. Yes, I will stand by that for this season.
And I mean, that hurts. That hurts to say. But that's something I really wanted to point out because I really wanted to point out how while maybe we are defending Ben or while maybe we're not defending Ben, depending on which way we're going, right? The fact of the matter is we can all at least agree that he is not playing up to snuff.
Not what he used
Even
to
in his
be.
own division. Even in terms of his own division, he's just not playing up to snuff. And it needs to get better. It can get better. I still believe this team has a chance to make a playoff run. I still would prefer to see Mason Rudolph make a little playing time, get a start, because worst comes to worst, Mason shows good. Really what I think happens is Mason comes in, plays mediocre, lights a fire under Ben, and Ben shows up at least a little bit in the playoff game, which is what I really want to see. That's what I want to see out of it. That's why I want to see the change happen, is I want to see a fire get lit under Ben. Because, to me, Ben's checked out. Based off these press conferences, based off his nonchalant attitude, based off the fact he's admitted he's the problem, but still doesn't want to practice every day of the week. To me, that just shows that, yeah, Ben knows he's the problem, but Ben doesn't care. Because if he cared, to me, he would be practicing on Wednesdays when he knows he's the problem. He'd be showing these guys by leading by example that, hey, I'm out here, I'm putting in more time than I need to because I want you guys to know this is a special team. To me, he's sending the wrong message to all these guys that, it is what it is. I'm not going to put in the time. And then if you're watching that and you're seeing your quarterback struggle, you know he looks unprepared. Does it not hit in your head that, does he even care? Like, if you were on that team, as a person who's played sports before, if someone did that on your team, your best player started sucking and then just didn't practice, would you think they cared?
No.
If you have the next 2 weeks are W's, Donkey, the whole conversation changes.
Genji, stop trying to psycho change my babble into mumbo jumbo that doesn't make you state a position here. If you saw someone doing what he did on a team you were on and you were sucking because he wasn't performing, would you have faith in him?
Not if it's like in the locker room what he is in the media. I don't know what goes on in that locker room. Again, I want
someday I
Steelers
am gonna
Nation
get
Donkey
you.
needs to feel some hope.
I hear you. But
need
someday I'm going to
some
get you to take a
Festivus
firm stance on a
cheer,
position.
Some
Someday,
Festivus
Genji.
miracle. Okay.
Someday. I'm going to get you, Genji. I'm going to get you, bro. I am gonna. I thought this was a good spot to get it, but apparently I'm wrong.
You have
anyway.
it. You have it with that team this week, Donkey. But like I said, I will reassess all of that talk at a later
Hey,
date.
you want my take? You want my take for the week? That's going to surprise everybody if they've made it this far through our episode.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Steelers 24-17.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Wave 'em
I
if
don't
you
know
got
why,
'em, Steeler Nation.
But Steelers 24-17. Any predictions from you two?
That's
I was letting
let's,
Genji go first.
Let's go. I will go with 27-24 for the Boswell foot. We got
Boswell's out.
with
Boswell's out.
Boswell's out for this week. Who's our backup at kicker then, Donkey?
Matthew Wright. I believe it's Matthew Wright.
Matthew
I
Wright
think
needs
that's
to step up and hit a big one. It's going to be a close one.
At least I'm pretty sure Boswell's out. When I went on the thing that said 3 Steelers were out, he was the picture on the front. I don't
30.
remember what I read.
35-31.
Jesus, offense.
Points.
Laskers
Points.
is like my favorite to talk to because he is offense city. Last
Who
week,
said
how
I
many
was
points
going
you got from the
offense?
offense, Laskers? 30. Oh, dude, just every time you're on here, we ask you what you want from the offense. It's always in the 30s. I fucking love it.
Well,
That's
that's
what
what
we
defense
need.
too, though.
We need some offense. We need some Laskers caliber offense on this football team, okay?
Needs to
We
push.
get some Laskers caliber offense and we can win a Super Bowl. Did you hear that, Pittsburgh? He's calling you out. Step the hell up.
Lots of push.
Fudge, yeah, dude. That's what I am talking about. All right, on to the shout-outs. Who wants to go? Do we have shout-outs this week?
This week I have a shout out, and that is going to be a somber moment in reflection of Pro Football Hall of Famer Kevin Green, original Blitzburg. Shout out to him and his family. Lots of memories there for me. You know, as an 80s and 90s child, I really began my Steeler watching with, Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd and Blitzburg, getting me real excited every week, and it's a shame to see that loss for Steelers Nation. But
For sure.
what did I hear out there? The defense in heaven just got a little better.
Yep. That was the greatest line I ever heard. Man, I'm with you, dude. Those golden locks, man. That's just
Oh, Greg Lloyd,
Ah.
Kevin Green, those football teams from the the early '90s. Jason Gilden after Lloyd, and that really always got me hyped up for Steeler football.
those dudes knew how to get it done. That is for darn sure.
Yeah,
One of
that's
the-
my shout out
definitely
this
one of the
week.
best out there. Laskers, any shout outs for you?
I think based on what Gingy said, we need to see some good defense this week.
Let's go.
That's
Wave 'em
Pay
if you
respect.
got 'em, Laskers.
for sure. Let's see Highsmith step up with a vintage Kevin Green type performance. That'd be sweet to see. My only shout out is Minka. Thank you for learning how to tackle, dude. Shout out, because you got called out so hard for your, I don't even know what to call it, but your attempt to touch a person. But this week
Swing and a
you
miss.
came and you tackled like a man. I loved it. Way to go. Way to step up. Keep leading. Keep being that playmaker. Keep proving that trading that first round pick was all the more worth it because damn, can you play some football?
Woot woot.
And you guys who will watch us, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to join in. We would love to talk some more teams other than just the Steelers. But right now, that's what we got because that's who we are. That's what we love to talk. I'll gladly watch film of whatever team you want to get my perspective if you want it. And tell you what I honestly think about your team or a team you hate if you really want me to rip on a team you hate. For all you Steeler haters out there, go ahead and suck it in because this is what it's like being a bad season for the Steelers. It's, oh my God, we're in the playoffs. What? But can we make the Super Bowl? Y'all are just praying to make the playoffs. So go ahead and hate. You do your thing.
You know what Gingy
Yeah.
says? Wave 'em if you got 'em, Steeler Nation. Here we go. Week 16. Let's line 'em up.
Let's get that division, bro.
Let's get the North.